So now we have understood DFS on a tree and some basic definitions in a tree. Let's look at the problem statement. So in this problem, we are given a person called Kefa who has his house at vertex 1, which is the root of the tree, and he needs to visit restaurants in the tree, and the restaurants are leaf vertices. So the leaf vertices of the park where he's staying have restaurants, and he needs to choose a restaurant to go. However, there's a condition on which leaves he can choose to go to, and he can only choose to go to those leaves such that the path from one, which is his house, to the restaurant should not contain more than m consecutive vertices with caps. So first we know for each node in the tree whether it contains a cat or not. So we read in n integers a1 to an, which tells us whether the vertex or the node ai contains a cat or does not contain a cat. And then we are given the edges of the tree, and we need to find the number of leaves in the tree such that the path from one to that leaf does not contain more than m consecutive vertices with cats. So let's look at the first sample test case. So in the first sample test case, we are given 4 nodes, and obviously we have 3 edges connecting the nodes. And we know that node 1 and node 2 contain cats. And we are also given m is 1, which is the maximum number of consecutive nodes which can contain cats in the path from 1 to a leaf. So you can imagine the tree rooted at 1, and these are the edges going downward. And now let's look at the node 2, so the leaf node 2. So leaf node 2 Kefa cannot go to this node because there are 2 consecutive vertices which contain cats. So basically the path from 1 to 2 contains 2 vertices with cats, but we can choose 3 and we can choose 4 because there are only one vertex with a cat from the paths from 1 to 3 and from the paths from 1 to 4. In the second sample test case, there are 7 nodes and 6 edges connecting them, and there are 3 vertices with cats, which are nodes 1, 3, and 4, and m is 1 again, which basically means that on the path from 1 to a leaf, we can have at most one consecutive vertex with a cat. So let's consider all the leaves. So the leaves are 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's see for each leaf whether we can reach that leaf or no. So for 4 we can reach that leaf because the path from 1 to 4 contains only one consecutive vertex, which is at node 1 and at node 4. So we can reach node 4. We can reach node 5, but we can't reach node 6 or node 7. And the reason why we can't reach node 6 or node 7 is because there are 2 consecutive vertices which contain cats on the path from 1 to 6 and from 1 to 7. And you can verify that the correct answer is 2 for both the sample test cases. And now let's look at the solution. So in the solution, we are always going to start by traversing the tree. We need to traverse the tree first. And the best way to traverse a tree would be to do DFS to traverse the tree. And let's look at the DFS function because that's where everything happens. In the DFS function, we pass in the node u, which we are currently at, and we pass in the parent, which is how we always do it. And we basically go to all v which are adjacent to u, and we basically v is not the parent, then we call DFS on v with u as the parent. Now what information which we need to pass in the DFS function is that what is the current number of consecutive vertices with cats, and the second question which you need to ask is what is the max number of consecutive vertices with cats, and this is obviously from the path from 1 to u, and over here also the max number of consecutive vertices with cats in the path from 1 to u. So to answer these two questions, we'll maintain two extra variables, which are basically the current number of consecutive vertices, so int num consecutive, and int max consecutive, which shows the max number of consecutive vertices with cats. And in the DFS, we'll pass the same two parameters. But now the key thing is, in our do something part before we call DFS on the children of u, we need to understand how do we update these variables. So that's the question which we are trying to ask now. How do we update these two variables? The answer to this question is actually very simple, and that is we need to update num consecutive. Num consecutive increases by 1 if current node has a cat, and otherwise, if you think about it carefully, otherwise num consecutive becomes 0. That should be obvious because like when we are at a node 3 and then we go to node 7, then the number consecutive becomes 0, because once we go to 7, then there are no consecutive nodes. The max consecutive will be 2, but the num consecutive will become 0. So that's how we update num consecutive. Now how do we update max consecutive? So the way to do that would be max consecutive becomes maximum of what it already was and num consecutive. So that's essentially what we need to do. So if a of u, then num consecutive plus plus, otherwise num consecutive is 0, and we just update max consecutive to the maximum of what it already was and with the current num consecutive, and that's all that's there in the DFS function. Now we just need to go back to the original question and consider all leaves and check if the max consecutive is less than or equal to n. And that's all that we need to do. As I mentioned in the previous part, if the number of children, so if number of children is 0, this basically means the node is a leaf, and the max consecutive is less than or equal to n, then we basically increase the answer because we have a leaf which we can reach from 1. And that's essentially what we will do in the code. So now that we have figured out how to write the DFS function and how the solution works, let's just write the code. So in the code, first I define global variables n and m, and I define them to be 10 to the 5 because the maximum number of nodes in the tree can be 10 to the 5. Then I read in the graph. So first I read in n and m, and then since they mentioned whether or not each node has a cat, I'll have the A array. So then I'll basically read in all those zeros or ones, and now I'll read in the graph. So in the graph we are given the edges, and basically we need to push back the node v to the adjacency list of u, and we need to push back the node u to the adjacency list of v. That's how we build the graph. And now let's write the DFS function, which we are going to, as the parameters, we are going to pass u and p as always, and we are going to maintain num consecutive and max consecutive. So first we update num consecutive. So if a of u, then num consecutive will increase by 1, otherwise num consecutive will become 0. And max consecutive will be updated to the maximum of what it already was and the num consecutive. So now we know for each node the max number of consecutive cats in the path from 1 to that node, and that's what we need to store essentially when we are computing the leaves. When we add the leaves, we need this information. So let's store the number of children. So number of children, number child, So if he is not a parent, then we launch the DFS from V with U as a parent. I mean the max number of consecutive nodes and the num consecutive nodes will be passed to the DFS on V, and num children will basically be 0, and we increase the number of children by 1. And now we just need to check if this node is a leaf, and if the max consecutive nodes which contain caps from the path from 1 to m is less than or equal to m, then we increase the answer by 1. Otherwise, we don't increase the answer by 1. And basically, we launch the DFS from 1, which 1 has no parent, and with there are no consecutive nodes in the path so far. We are going to increase that if 1 contains a cat over here. And then after we do the DFS and we visit the whole tree, we'll just print the answer. So let's just run the code on the sample test cases before we submit it. So as you could see, we got the correct output of 2. Let's run it also on the first sample test case. And the correct output is 2 again. And let's just submit the code to see that it gets accepted. As you could see, my code got accepted. I hope you like this problem and my solution. As you could see, this problem illustrated the use of depth first search on a tree and how we can pass in multiple parameters to the depth first search in the tree. In the next video, I'll be covering similar problems on depth first search. So do join me in the future videos. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and do consider subscribing to my channel for more such content. Thank you.